Hey guys, Jeff here with MTV Bros. And it's one of those days. We've had a lot of rain lately, and sorry to say we're going to have some more. As you can see behind me, I got a new toy that showed up in the mail today. So I figured I'd do a quick video of unboxing new bike day. So it is a 2019 Specialized Stumpy 29er, expert level, and they're, what do they call it, blue steel. Alright. This comes out together. Huh. Cool. And they have a box of pedals with reflectors and swapped pieces and stickers and brochures, which is awesome. I love brochures. Okay, now the fun part. Okay, like the color so far. Surprised. I was a little worried. My color palette is like grays, blacks. It's kind of like Batman, I guess. Yeah, so I was a little worried ordering something with color. Oh, that one's not doing any good. Here, let me get the right tool for the job here. You gonna stay put? And cue it falling over. Alright, so the question is on the builds, comp versus expert, right? On the new Stumpy build. Really the difference is the wheel. This one has a carbon wheel. One thing I like that Specialized did on Stumpy is now on some lower builds it has a carbon rear end. That and the new bottom bracket, it dropped just about a pound altogether. But man, this is looks pretty good. Gotta see if this is set up tubeless. Looks like it came in one piece. Oh, my last bike was black. It was gloss. The other color that they had it in was this like red orange, which it's not really like a SRAM red. So anyway, it would have been really tough to match. It was a flat color too. So yeah, I'm thinking this is the color to have. Now I got a Invisiframe kit for this thing that showed up. So I'll have to install that right away. But on the whole, this thing is looking good. Let me change views and we'll get it up on the stand. Actually, let's do that now. Nut puncher. Man, stem is much shorter. I had a previous generation camber, and that was the one change that I made, was a shorter stem with a slightly wider and flat bar. When you look at the geo on the Specialized bikes, they tend to have like a higher front end as far as like bar height. Forget the name they ascribe to it, but bottom line, actually in riding you feel like, you know, not only is the cockpit a little smaller than some of the longer slacker lower, but really when you start looking at overall front end height, it's a really tall bike up front. So I guess I need to cut that one. So even this bar, I'll be really interested in seeing if, with a shorter stem, if I'm okay with the rise on this front bar, but I'll ride it for at least a half year before I start making changes. These guys have these bikes so dialed. Also noticing that larger seat tube, man, that thing is burly. That was probably, you know, one of the few things I had to do on the previous last gen bike I had of theirs, was I had to put some, I know they have like carbon, oh man, I don't even know what they call it, but it adds like a little bit of grit underneath components you're tightening on a carbon. I just used like a, what's it called? Like an anti-seize lubricant. It's got the same kind of, oh yeah, the bottle's seen better days. It's moved with me for years. Good to have on hand for fasteners though, but use some of that just a little bit around the seat posts, and never had problems with creaking or loosening on that rear seat clamp. Okay, let's get this leveled out. One thing I do miss on these Specialized bars is they don't have any like alignment lines, so you can get the bars centered. I always find when I'm doing like a quick dry fit that I end up with bars off to one side. I always find myself wishing they had a center line and then a set of lines so you can kind of figure out what rake you like and get it easy to repeat. But I guess I could do that with stickers or something else. No, there isn't a Specialized logo on the center of the bar I can use to kind of get it centered. Okay, let's get this fairly loose, or fairly snug I should say. I always end up cutting these on the wrong side so I can reuse them. Figures. Oh. So it's got the GX12 speed. What do they put on the front? A 30 tooth? And then SWAT, you guys have seen all the other stuff in online reviews. Supposedly the chip comes in its low position, so it'll come slacked out. I gotta see that accent. Oh yeah, check that out. New command post. I know some people aren't a huge fan of them, but I actually like those stops. when you ride the bike for a while, you get used to being able to just automatically slam in to one click up or one click down. So I've actually liked that switch from a seat post that's adjustable, that doesn't have those preset pins. Yeah, so it's a 150, 140 bike. The camber I had before was a 130, 120. So 20 mil more travel. Anxious to get this thing out. Okay. The only thing that struck me funny is the matte on the front. Well, I guess the rest of the black is also matte. I was just seeing that some of the stuff was like more of a gloss black. Maybe it's just the gloss on the frame throwing me off. Looks good though. Alright, I'll get my torque wrench and do this up. I just wanted to see the bike together. Good looking bike. I'll have to get the pedals out. We'll get some pedals on it right away. So, one up. Jensen. Yeah. They're pretty light, which is why I'm actually kind of intrigued. Seems like more people are going to composite pedals nowadays. Rack these off. That's the one thing about me, I'm so damn anal about keeping stuff clean. When I brought my bike in to the shop just to have some basic maintenance done, when they're giving the bike back to me, the guys behind the counter were like, okay, we're curious, how long did it take you to do all that frame tape? My last one, I just got like plain sheets from Amazon, and just did my own. Man, it took me ages. We had some rainy weather. Dallas, it's pretty bad. Whenever it rains, it shuts down the trails, so I had some time to kill, we'll put it that way. Feels like a big bike. I gotta look to see how much the wheelbase changed. I think it was right around 1200 with this one, and I think it was a 2-inch increase. Man, I gotta check my numbers, but already have some shipping damage. I was thinking of trying those boots that you can get for the front of the cranks. I know I'm gonna slam these things. Okay, it's starting to look like a bike. Man, these composite pedals feel like a toy. Okay, get everything snugged up in a little bit, but it's looking pretty good, huh? Oh. Looks like a bike. Oh, here, gotta get it the right way. Man, it feels tight. Looking good. Obviously, the reason why it felt tight was it was shipped, not set up. So spent some time getting the B screw and min and max set up, and it was driving me nuts. Just something was not right with the derailleur. It just was not lining up. So that's when I remembered that when it was delivered, there was some damage on the box, and I took a few pictures and didn't think of it until after probably a week of trying to set up the derailleur, that the derailleur was kind of set right on the side of the box where some of the damage had happened. So took it into the shop, local shop, Cadence Cyclery, and they did a quick inspection and determined that the rear derailleur was bent. All right, so I got the front axle to spec. Man, this is the hot tire setup. I actually started with a purgatory front and a ground control rear on my camber, and ended up going to a 2-3 front butcher grid with a purgatory rear. And in the forums, this is the hot setup that you hear everyone talking about. Man, it has the channels so you can lay the bike down to corner, you know how you're supposed to corner. It's a great combo. Oh man, boy, that's dorky. Peel me. Yeah, I'll continue getting this thing ready for my first ride. First ride went really well. I was really blown away, knowing that it has 20 mil more travel front and rear than my previous camber, the previous generation. Really, it still had that stable pedal platform that I was hoping to still have, but you could definitely feel that it was longer, and it was in the front center that you could feel that increased length. Like it just felt more spacious, and I guess sitting and pedaling, you noticed it a lot in front of your knees. Although the reach wasn't much longer, that longer front center really changed how the bike felt, and where you would lean to change, like bite front to rear. So that's it for now. That's the unboxing. I wanted to share some basic thoughts. I've been riding it for about half a year now, and I'm starting to make other changes that I'll highlight in future videos. But really, for people that are poring over the details and a nerd for some of the details, just wanted to share my story with you guys, and hope you enjoyed. If you got any questions, hit us up. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.